20 seconds. Share this around. We got Trading Nut here, podcast legend. All right. I had to just close out my trades. Otherwise, I'm going to get distracted. Market's moving pretty well for Power Hour right now. I think this might be our first time ever doing Power Hour for the podcast, just simply because Cam here, the Trading Nuts, what an awesome brand, dude. You've been doing this for ages.
Too long, mate. Too long. I think it was over 10 years. It was 10 years last year, I think, for the podcast in total. It was called 52 Traders way back in the day. And that was where there was no video. It was just interviewing traders, trying to find out what everyone was doing and how traders think. And still don't really know, to be honest.
So walk us through just a brief synopsis of the story of your trading career. You know, because that's actually rather interesting. Is, you know, what do you mean that there's no video? Like the podcast for no video?
Yeah, there was a podcast with no video. So it was literally just audio only. Never saw the person. I think I might have seen them on Zoom, but we just recorded the audio and just uploaded it as a podcast. Like no YouTube. Yeah. YouTube came in later on. I thought I'll chuck a couple up there. And then all of a sudden I realized that people were actually watching the YouTube videos and started getting, you know, strategies out of people and just now it's kind of more of a YouTube thing. I think I haven't uploaded a podcast for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. So it started off. I started off ages ago when I found this dude who, actually, I used to work kind of with him. He was my account manager at an advertising firm, and he left. And then 6 months later, the other dudes at the Ogilvy were like, "Hey, that guy's made $500,000 in 6 months." I'm like, "What? How's he done that?" "Oh, he's trading like overnight futures or something." And it's like, okay, so. Message the guy, "How did you do it?" And he goes, "I did these 3 courses and that's what I'm doing." So, and I looked at them and they were like sort of 10 grand each, apart from one of them was $1,000. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with the cheap one.
Start with that one.
Yeah, went with that one and then started from there. And to be honest, I just got sidetracked by the whole industry and ended up, I guess, going down rabbit holes that weren't taking me anywhere. And I've only just really in the last probably couple of years started taking my trading journey more seriously than ever, and find that I'm actually more profitable than what I have ever been. I've been like so flippy floppy. It's been ridiculous. And interviewing like dudes every week doesn't help because you're hearing a different strategy and a different approach and you go, "Oh, what does that look like?" and dive into the rabbit hole there.
Okay. So you took a different approach with the YouTube route, actually. Is, you know, back when I did my more guru sort of stuff, everyone was doing the guru stuff, teaching, selling their course, you know, and you know, this strategy, that strategy, you know, I flipped this, whatever. You were more of this podcast, I just want to talk to everyone, learn everything sort of guy. Why that decision?
I was listening to a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire with this guy, John Lee Dumas.
Yeah.
And I just was driving to work one day I was like, why don't I just ask traders who are doing what I want to do, how they do it? I thought that was my whole premise behind the podcast. And so that's what I thought. If I ask the guys that are doing it well, I should eventually work out how to do it. Yeah. But it's just not the case. It's not that easy.
Yeah. How many of them do you think were just LARPing? Do you know that term?
I've not heard that term, but I'm guessing just like trying to
talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Live action role play is what it means.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I went back and just recently actually went back and I looked because I have kind of slowed down on doing the podcast interviews because I'm kind of thinking it's not necessarily helping me. And I went back and had a look at the people I interviewed. I was like, oh my word. I don't even think I would I actually did it yesterday, and I think there was like 2 people in about 50 that I would interview again. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not good, right? And it's at the time, I'm like, I've got a theory, right? A lot of people have some success. They have a strategy. It's probably systematic, and they find that it works for a period of time. and it probably does work for that period of time. You backtest it over that period of time, it'll work great. And then eventually it starts failing. And in that duration of time, they've basically gone and created themselves a whole, course. They've got clients, they're now selling stuff. And then they get into a big spiral of, I've got all these clients to service. My strategy's not working. I've got to flip strategy. I've got to change another strategy. I've got to tweak this. It's not working. I don't know enough about how to read price action to actually, I suppose, teach people how to trade. And I think that's the big thing. And the guy that I ended up finding, he's super private, and he's kind of taught me everything he knows. And it's absolutely ridiculous when he breaks it down, how simple it is to to trade, to learn how the market works. Let's say learn how the market works. Executing is a different story, right? You can teach someone how the market works, but executing that strategy is where everyone screws it up 100%. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we had a bunch of students join. So I finally got him to start teaching other people what he knows. Had a bunch of students join, and I one out of, let's say 2 out of 100 actually followed what was taught.
2 out of 100, 2%.
So 98 people.
So what do you mean by,
and went off and did whatever they wanted to do?
What do you mean by they actually followed the rules? The rules of the strategy?
Like, the rules of the strategy are pretty simple, right? It's not rocket science. But 98 out of 100 people did not follow the rules. They could not follow the rules. They added their own rules in. They thought better of stuff. They took real risky trades. They broke rules. I mean, it was pretty simple. There's like 4 or 5 things to do. Couldn't do it. It's incredible.
So do you think the hardest part about trading is simply controlling yourself then? I don't like saying discipline, because I think that's an overused word in the industry, lacking discipline or mindset or something. But do you think it's something to do with having to just control your behavior?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, in fact, I created an app, launched it last year. I don't know if I flicked it to you or not, but it's called Trader Zen, and it's audio.
You made Trader Zen.
Trader Zen. What's that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, you've seen it? Yeah.
I didn't know that was from you. What was funny is actually we have sorry to interrupt. We have a psychologist on staff that she made an app called Trade 365, right? Okay. And I was looking and I was saying, there's another app that's the same thing, Trader Zen, right? And I looked it up because she was trying to look for, this doesn't exist or whatever, right? And I looked it up and I said, there's another one already out there, and I didn't know that one's yours.
Yeah, that's mine. That's mine.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. So, actually, I didn't know that there was another one out there either. So yeah, look, I mean, I created this app to try and help with psychology, because it's one of those hardest things. I mean, I ask people in these interviews, I say, what is it that, tell me something that I need to do or I need to change to get myself in the right mindset to be a trader. And they'll give you meditation or whatever, real high level stuff. And none of it is actually actionable. And that's the hardest thing. So this is kind of actionable. It does fundamentally change your mind. I mean, I listened to this and went on a 12 trade winning streak. It was ridiculous. I've never done anything close to that. And it purely started to change the way I was thinking about what I was doing subconsciously. And that's where you need to obviously change things as subconscious, and doing that consciously is so hard to do. I mean, unless you're like the likes of Tom Hugard, who sits down and visualizes, trades before he goes and sits down at a session, which is so hard to do. Even forcing yourself to do that, being disciplined to do it and not let your mind wander is so hard.
So do you think it's a fact of people being, I guess, unstable and reactive versus them not understanding the strategy? Is the strategy potentially too complicated that those 98% of people are messing it up, or are they not putting in their emotional restraint? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Look, it's partly emotion, right? So the emotion part is either the FOMO, the revenge trading, the greed, all these things play a part, right? So that's one thing you've got to get over. The other thing is just executing to the rules, breaking the rules. And usually you're breaking the rules because of these things, right? You're breaking it because you're either in fear mode, greed mode, or rage mode, and freeze mode. So you're not taking a setup. You're seeing a setup. There's no reasons not to take it. And you're going, well, I don't want to risk, or you get in and you get out too early because you can't handle, you haven't accepted the loss. So there's that acceptance of not just taking a trade, but also not taking a trade, which is probably even harder. And with the strategy, there's a lot of not taking trades, and you've got to decide which ones am I going to take. And so you can talk yourself out of a trade easily enough, but when you look back at it, there's always a reason that you shouldn't have either you shouldn't have either filtered the trade, or you should have taken the trade. It's pretty black and white. And in fact, that what this guy JJ, we run Dynamic Traders Club, what he teaches is very mechanical rules. So you can actually apply all these rules, yet it is highly dynamic, and it's quite hard to explain why. But the rules are very mechanical, black and white. There's no gray areas.
Yeah,
but there are gray areas, which is it's kind of.
I weirdly understand what you mean now that I get better and better with trading. Is the rule? There's like one or two rules, and they're so pathetically easy, right? Like, is this the right interpretation? It's like if I explained it to somebody, you'd be like, "That's it," right? And then they'd be like, "Oh, I could do that, no problem." And then you go into the chart, and it's like that rule is conflicting with itself everywhere.
Yeah, basically. That's it. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, like I mean, and it takes some time to get there. And this is the other thing people do is they go, I blindly believe the mentor has done all the work, and what they've taught me will work. Now that's great, and that is true. But the reality is, your brain hasn't accepted that. Your ego hasn't accepted that. And you're going to override that, and you don't know you're going to override it. And what you need to do then, how do you fix that? Easy. Go and back test it. Go and do the work yourself. They've taught you what you need to know. Go and do the work yourself. 100, 300 trades, something like that. Back tested, and do it regularly so you don't forget it. Once that's burned in, then you go and trade the strategy. And in fact, the best person in our group did in fact that. I mean, we're actually quite surprised. We're going, it's a lady, and we were going, is she ever going to take a trade here or what? I mean, she kept posting markups every single day. She's like marked up like 7 or 8 trades for the day. Here's my markups for the day, guys. Have you taken any trades yet? No. What's she doing? We're almost like confused, like, what is she doing? Anyway, she finally started taking trades, and now she is the best trader in the whole community by far. Like, she's posting 3 hours, 4 hours, 2.5s, 1.2s, 0.8s. It's like almost every single day she does trade.
Yeah. I also think, Cam, there's a big difference, like at least what I've experienced in my trading journey, is that there's a big difference between knowing what to look for and then actually doing it in real time, actually executing it. Is that something that you've seen or experienced with other traders that you've traded with or worked with, or in your own trading?
I mean, with this particular strategy, it's actually kind of easy to do because it's stop order strategy. So even going down to the point of like, what kind of entry are you taking, right? What kind of entry do you guys take?
For ourselves?
Yeah. What kind of entry?
I just enter market at any single time because I know the next direction.
Your market order. And what about you, James?
Market execution. I'm market execution, so I'm actually clicking.
And so do you guys know what the difference between, like, what's the best order to take?
Well, it's probably a market order because you don't get comms on them. I know that.
The best order to take is a limit order.
Limit
100%.
Order, limit order, yeah.
Limit order, you're going to get slipped in. You're going to get slipped in, right, in the right direction. The worst probably order is stop order. And actually, I do trade stop orders. So, but market orders, you could take a market order at a limit order level.
Sure.
Albeit, you may not get filled. You actually may get filled at a worse price because you're just a bit slow.
You think on average with a limit order, you're going to get slipped into your advantage?
You do get slipped into your advantage. So if you've got let's say a 1 hour risk, right? My order comes down, you're going long, comes down, push it, like you've got to get filled, and it's not going to fill you at a worse price. It's like, well, I've never seen it fill at a worse price.
Yeah.
because you're trying to get filled, and it's like, well, the market's got a lot of momentum coming down, and that momentum has to hit the order at some point. Now, this is going to reduce your 1R to make it a super, like, I mean, you might be risking half an R. Or sorry, you might be risking your 1R is now half an R. If it works, pops out, you're all of a sudden at 2R and you're only really at 1R or something to that effect. I don't know what the maths is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you're really big on the R then, right? Because if you're trying to calculate your trades based off of R.
I'm big on the R, but I'm not big on the R, right? So I'm big on managing your risk. That's what I'm big on, right? So I don't go, right, I need to get 1R. I need to just get out of a shit trade, right? Totally. So if a trade's not working out, I need to get out. I'm not, and this is what I've been taught by my mentor, just get out. It doesn't matter. Get back in again, right? This is where you've got the mindset. You've got to have the right mindset. And this is where the professional traders are in there, and they get into a position, it's not working out, they get out, and you can see them get out. You can see on the chart. If you know what you're looking for, you can see it on the chart where these guys are getting out. In fact, I did a live stream last week, and I said, and I actually didn't get out. I didn't get out. So, and I said, look, the professional traders got out here. And in fact, I got out for like, I think it was a 0.4R loss. So, and I could see it was breaking down, like it was breaking over trend lines and stuff. I'm like, okay, right, I'm getting out. But I said, the professionals got out here. I can fucking see it. And it was like plain as day. So if you know, you know. Well, and this is what are you looking for? So ironically, I actually don't trade the candlestick charts anymore. I can read the candlestick charts. And I trade Heiken-Ashi.
Okay.
No way. Yeah. So this is what we teach at Gold Rush Alpha, and I trade this. It's actually it does help psychologically more than trading candlesticks, right? Candlesticks can make you like just
get out of trade
against yourself and what have you. I mean, I can read candlestick charts. I can read Heiken-Ashi charts. It doesn't take that long to work it out. In fact, the whole point we did Heiken-Ashi was because it's easier for people to understand how it works, right? Or to understand how to read the system, and hence why the system is so easy
to the viewers. What Heiken-Ashi is before we go too deep.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's like an average of the candle and the candles around it. So basically, you're going to get like you're only going to get a high, and you're only going to get a high or a low, or a high and a low of the candle. So you're not going to necessarily always get a low, and you're not always going to get a high, and you're not always going to get an open and a close. So
let's look.
Yeah, it's probably best to have a look at it, right?
Yeah. So it's a really weird one if you've been used to, regular candlesticks. I'm going to switch this back to Globex hours. Okay. Yeah. So explain to me again. So, because, I've actually forgotten too, it's an average of the last two candles or something when it opens, right?
Yeah. I can't even remember exactly what it is, but it is like an average, right? So what it means is when you see like a bull candle, if you get a change from like a bear to a bull, you can it's a better way of saying, well, the overall momentum has shifted.
Yeah.
Right? And whereas with a normal candlestick, you might get a bull, bear, bull, bear, bull, bull, bear.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on, right? You got to try and work that out in your head.
These pivot points are really, really awesome because, potentially you could get these massive moves, right?
But
do you think these allow you to stay in trades longer, Cam?
Well, it means you can actually, I suppose you can hold trades longer because you're less likely to get wicked out if you trail your stop. Look, on the flip side, it's not perfect. There's always, nothing is perfect. If it was so easy, everyone would be making a fortune. So there are times when you got to kind of know when it's not going to work, and this is what we teach in the course. It does help you go, okay, well, if I'm just going to trail the lows or something going long, you're going to stay in that trade for, you might get 7, 8 hours sometimes.
So if you entered somewhere down here, maybe you waited for like 2 red candles or something, and then you'd be out here, right? Like, give us no pun intended, but give us in a nutshell of how the trading nut would be doing this.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, like, just that I don't think I can draw on your screen here, but
if you want to
before. Yeah, so that big down move, right? So that big down move. So just at a high level, and this isn't necessarily the strategy, but so you can see there we've got a breakout, right, of the trend, of the downtrend.
Yeah.
So we broke out of that downtrend, and the downtrend can be quite that big long downtrend, right? Broke out.
Yeah.
And then
came back up here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got a red candle.
Yeah.
So you'd be getting in there.
So when it converts, you'd be looking for one pullback, and you'd get in, and then you'd let it go until the next one or something along those lines. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be like, there's a few different exit strategies and stuff. I mean, looking at this particular chart here.
Yeah. So you'd take a.
I would like. There's. I mean, it depends on. I mean, I can't draw on it, but it depends on what level you've got to. But I would probably be getting out where that big bull, at the wick of that big bull, not way up there, but the one before it, the big massive one. That one there. Yeah. There's a reason to get out there, and it's like not everyone's going to see it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'd be looking to get out there. So you'd get a good move. In fact, I was looking at this one just before we jumped on, and there was no setup when I jumped on, it was at the top of that big bull there that we just pointed out. It was just around there. Price was around there, and there was no setups to go long or go short. And have we missed anything here?
It looks like
there may have been a setup short. Yeah, there may have been a setup short there. Yeah, and so that would have potentially been, depending on where you want to put your stop, and we keep that dynamic in the club. That would have been like maybe a 1.5 hour trade or something.
For London session too, you've got an interesting one here. So you've got this uptrend, it's converted, you wait for the pullback, and this would be your short all the way down there.
Yeah,
which is pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I know there are rules to it, but they're kind of easy to pick up and understand. I mean, I've got my 17-year-old daughter doing the course now, and and she gets it. She gets it.
Yeah. So you're more full-time on trading now than doing the full-time on podcasting?
I'm transitioning. Yeah, I'm transitioning. I've got I'm doing. I tell you what, the hardest thing. So I have been doing weekly pre-market analysis on candlestick charts. Funnily enough, not using Heikinashi. So I do a weekly. Weekly live. Let's mark up the chart, pick a couple of trade ideas for the week. You tell me what markets, and I'll do that live. And I've been doing all right with those. I mean, I'll get the odd win. I mean, sometimes it takes 2 weeks for the damn thing to fill, and it might, by that stage, the whole thing's done or it hits take. Anyway, long story short, I've now started, and the hardest thing ever. It is the hardest thing ever. I take my hat off to anyone that can do this, which is trading live in front of an audience. It is probably the hardest thing to do, and I've done it years ago when I was let's just say I was shit. I wasn't a good trader.
Yeah.
And then I realized that this is not even helping, and I'm fucking useless. So I ended up not doing it. I've just jumped back in the last couple of weeks, and I mean, it does help. I'm not gonna lie, it does help, because
the live trading. Sorry.
Yeah, because I'm talking through exactly what I'm thinking the whole time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hot and cold sort of thing, hey, because every single day, personally, when I'm live trading, I get somebody yelling at me about how their other mentor is going the other direction. Right?
Yeah. Everyone in the chat knows exactly what the market's going to do. 100%.
And it really, for some, even though you're shit, you doubt yourself no matter what. If our people are arguing with you, like there's that biological need to have to agree with them, right? For for whatever survival instinct we have, right? You don't want to go against the crowd, right? And it does make it more difficult. But I know what you mean too, in that sometimes if you're talking it out, you're going to explain it in more detail, right? And you're going to be able to understand it a little bit better. So would you advise then, how would you advise a person at home to be able to simulate that? Would you maybe trade with multiple friends, or, you know what I mean? Like, would we be able to simulate that for a person who doesn't live stream?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. If you don't look, I mean, yeah, it is a difficult one. How do you simulate that? Damn, I don't even know what the answer is, mate. I think, look, if you did it with friends, you'd obviously be kind of, somebody could obviously challenge you on something you're thinking, or if but as long as your friend was good, right? If they're also like they're greedy, then you're relying on their greed. Like, it's like, nah, just take the trade, mate. So it's kind of one of those things, scariest thing in the world. And like, I mean, I think I took the first trade on there. I'll tell you something. So I took the first trade, and I think I got out for break even. And then the next trade, I got in. Oh no, that's right. I didn't take the first trade. I can't remember what I did. Anyway, second trade.
Your age is
showing. I got in, and it was about this time of day. I got in, and I was like, okay, yep. I've waited like 45 minutes, an hour for this trade. Got in, and then the prop firm closed all my trades.
Oh, jeez.
1 hour and 5 minutes to the end of the market.
Oh,
so I was like, why have I got stopped out? And I'm like looking at, because I heard the noise, because I've got a sound when it, like, the trade closes. I'm like, why did I get stopped out? Oh no, I've traded into the bloody.
You're trading futures market.
That was futures, yeah. So I've traded everything, mate. You name it, I've traded it.
Now, what would you say somebody's trying to decide between futures and CFDs? Because I guess you've traded both, eh?
Well, I mean, I don't know why, but I actually do find futures a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Even though it makes no sense, right? Because you've got to, I mean, the number of times I screwed stuff up with taking a stop order, a limit order instead of a stop order, forgetting that I've moved it to market order, and thinking I'm going to take a stop order, and getting in and going, what the hell am I doing? Or clicking reverse position when I didn't know what I was doing, or trying to exit at the right amount and accidentally having the wrong contract size in there. So all those things, even though that's not great, because I've got a robot on my CFD C-Trader platform that does all that for me, and I never make any mistakes. I do find that, I don't know, maybe it's because it makes me think a bit more and not focus on, I don't know, it's kind of psychologically, it's just a bit easier. So in the CFDs, I've moved off MetaTrader. Used to be big MetaTrader guy, and now fully C-Trader. I don't think I'll ever go back to MetaTrader now.
Yeah, MetaTrader is a bit of a tricky one that for some reason didn't grow out of the 90s, but
Cam, if you trade futures on NQNet, I know the time zone there, your side, that must be like just past midnight. How are you waking up early in the morning?
I trade the Asia session, and I trade now. I trade now. So I'd be trading this, and there was a setup long that's just happened.
Yeah.
And I've missed that. And the setup short, actually, no, there wasn't really a setup short.
Now,
so trade, but
you're trading the close then, right?
I'm trading the close, yeah.
How do you find that? I've been kind of curious about that, because it seems like 50% of days will just do nothing. Like Friday evening, nothing happens,
and then there'll be other days that just rips.
Yeah. So I'm trading gold, right? So just so you know, so gold tends to have a little bit of a move,
a little bit smoother.
Yeah, it's a little bit smoother. Like, I mean, you can see there, as I said, there was a setup that's just happened. So what I'm intending to do now is actually go back to CFDs, funnily enough, and because I can trade a little bit longer, so I'm gonna just carry on doing this prop account on the futures, and then CFDs to the end of the market, and plus you can hold it if you get a good position.
Well, what we'll do is we'll send you a Maven account as well after this, and for your community as well. If you want to do a giveaway for your community, we can do that as well. Just we'll just message after, okay?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And you can play on there. How do you find then, like, so I know there's a weird thing where, and honestly, I've been doing this for ages, and I don't even know what I think of it. So I want to know your opinion. Is like in the future space, like prop firms shut you down at like 1 p.m. my time, right? And then 2 p.m. is when the actual NASDAQ closes, but the stock market closes at 1 p.m., right? And then they leave the NASDAQ going for like an extra hour.
Yeah.
Do you still trade on that hour, or is that just like insanity time?
I have traded in that hour. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it recently, but I have traded in that hour. Usually I find that at that point it does kind of just die off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not worth it then, you think, hey?
Yeah. So I mean, like Asia, you can get one good move out of Asia, and maybe two if you're lucky. I mean, I will sometimes trade London, but I mean that's for me kind of just like 5 p.m. till like 7 p.m. and at that point I'm already up at 6 a.m. like sitting in front of the charts. I'm kind of like sometimes I'm over it. Sometimes when I got time, I'll jump on and have a look and see if I can get something. But yeah, New York, just don't trade it. I mean,
fair.
It's wrong time zone for me, and I'm too old to be getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I feel that. I got a question by Rocky on Fire. Heikenashi looks great staying in the trend, but does it actually help with the execution, or does the average price mess with your head when trying to hit a precise entry?
Well, so as I said, you've only got like if the wicks are true, right? So when you see a high or low with a wick, you know that that's the high or low of the candle. So if you're going to try and trade the open or close or get a market order, it becomes a little bit tricky. So does it mess with what can mess with it is the fact you sometimes don't know where the actual price is, right? So if you're going to try and get out of a position, the candle might look like it's a bear candle, and you know it's a fairly big candle. Well, sorry, it might look like a bull candle, fairly big candle, but it spent a lot of time at the top of the bull before it tanked at the very end of the candle, and you think, oh yeah, that's all right. You know, it's probably just up here, when in fact it's right at the low, and the next, you know, opens at the low of the candle, and if you've got your stop, it will stop you out or whatever, or you're actually in a loss, and you go, oh, I thought I was in a profit, and I'm actually in a loss. So it can be a little bit confusing in that instance. How do you fix that? Just get a candle out. I think Trading View doesn't show the actual price, but like C-Trader does, so you can see the actual price with the, you know, the bid ask thing flicking around.
Sure. Yeah, that was always a problem. I have used Heikenashi before, and that was always kind of a problem I had, is like I don't really know where the closes were, right?
Yeah.
And the close for me is so important, because that tells you what was able to be supported, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever use both?
But even like the weird thing is, right? So the close on I'll tell you, like, so the close on a Heikenashi is still valid.
Okay.
That's the weird thing, right? It doesn't make any sense, but this close is still valid. So if it closes above like a trend line, or it closes above a support and resistance, it's still valid. Doesn't make any sense at all, but it works.
Interesting. Maybe because there are people trading Heikenashi.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know?
Yeah,
and they're using the closes. Yeah. Lone Tick Wolf on a 100K account, the dollar loss feels heavier than on a 5K. How do you decouple with money so that the lizard brain doesn't hijack your next trade? Right, you're talking a lot about psychology. You know, you have any you know, actionable tips of how to get out of the reptilian lizard mode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said, the Trader Zen app will help with that. But the other thing would be, I mean, you got to ask yourself how are you ranking your performance for the day? Right. So if your answer to this, and look, I mean, I answered this honestly the other day, and I was like, okay, I got to work on this. Yeah. If your answer to this is or my win rate or my P&L or how much money I made or how much money I didn't lose, all of this stuff means you're going to struggle with trading in the long term. So the answer is you should be saying to yourself, did I follow my plan? That's all that matters, right? And so at that point, did I follow my plan? You're actually not even thinking about the money. And so if you can answer that question with yes, I'm ranking myself or rating my performance by did I follow my plan, then that will hopefully get you out of thinking about money all the time or when you're risking too much.
Yeah, that's really good advice, actually. Yeah.
And then what you'll find is that, like everyone in the chat, I guarantee 98% of them don't have a plan. Tell me if you tell us if you have a plan in the comments. Do you have a trading plan written down that explains exactly what you're going to do?
Most people are just gunslinging. They're hoping to make money. We've got a good question here. I think, Cam, this is because your routine's a little bit different to, I'm in South Africa, so we're all on different time zones here. But someone's asking about what's something, if trading's mostly psychological, what's one habit outside of the charts that's made a big difference for you in like the last few years that you've started to find some great profitability?
Damn, I'm not going to lie. This bloody app did really help because I was listening to all these audios to do them, right? So by listening to like 90 plus audios that are trained to like rewire your brain, and I've got a few things in there that people just don't know about, that really get underneath the psyche into the subconscious. That helped massively. Okay, so but what else do I do? Look, I mean, I have a cold shower every morning. I've been doing that for years. My diets, I'll tell you something I did recently, which was quite cool. I optimized my diet with AI.
No way. How's that?
Yeah, so I've got a Garmin smartwatch here. It does with sleep, does the HRV, does all that stuff. And a mate of mine was saying, "Hey, I was playing golf with him, and he goes, right, have you heard of this? Oh yeah, have you heard of this Zone 2?" And I said, no. And he goes, have you heard of this Rucking? I said, no. Don't know what either of those two are. He goes, okay, Zone 2 is 110, 120 heartbeat. You got to keep your heartbeat within that range, and that stimulates the mitochondria, right? And so that stimulation of the mitochondria is kind of, you want to be there for optimal performance. Playing golf, yes, you do get into that, but he said the issue is you keep stopping and then you're starting again, so you don't have that consistent heart rate. So you've got to get into that consistent heart rate to stimulate the mitochondria. So how do you do that? Well, you do it through rucking. And well, I think younger people do it through rucking. Rucking is, you guys know what rucking is?
You get it like you get a backpack and you just go hiking, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Get a backpack, put some weights in it, and off you go. Yeah. Now, what I found was when I did that, my heart rate was up to like 150, 160. So I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work. I just need to walk like up a gentle slope. So yeah, there was that, and then I thought, okay, and I said, why'd you come up with this? He goes, oh, AI told me. I was like, okay. And he said he plugged all his data into that, and I thought, okay, why don't I do that? So I did that, and I've optimized the diet, which is kind of got rid of any sugar spikes, no insulin spikes. So that automatically helps the mindset because you're not going through slumps and peaks and you're basically static the whole day. And so that's one thing you can do that's going to help your mindset is just get static. I mean, I probably won't have food until lunchtime today. So the intermittent fasting, and then lunch is just going to be some rocket, some eggs. I mean, the whole lot is optimized. Then I've got a smoothie so I was having a smoothie every day. Like I've lost 7 kg in about a month and a half through this AI diet. and it's not even that hard because it's just giving me all the hacks. It's like saying, "Oh, are you eating a clove a day?" And not a clove of garlic, but an actual clove.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I eat probably 2 cloves a day now.
And
like
you're finding this helps improve your trading.
Yeah, look. So I mean, like when I'm at the charts, there's no slumps. There's no the concentration is like at an optimum. So this is what essentially it does. So you're getting your brain in the peak performance state, so that you can then actively not drift off and not be, I suppose, not be present at the charts.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I find that a lot as well. Is you know, if I'm not eating perfectly well, like if I have burgers, fast food, whatever, the next day I'm not trading as well. I'm more emotional, and it's interesting is because this is the average American diet is just eat garbage all the time, and it's like no wonder you're panicking, no wonder you're freaking out about these small movements, no wonder you're not able to actually perform on the charts because you can't think. You can't process anything, and you're just kind of randomly clicking shit, right? Without actually going through the actual analysis. Interesting. James, you want any questions? About 15 minutes maybe left or so. The market is, I'm just kind of watching the market in the background here. It is,
it's pumping,
ripping around.
Yeah.
Which is rather interesting. It must be the,
so you're on NQ, yeah. What's the
contract? So do you have, you might be frozen there right there for a second, Cam. Do you have any insights on the war or the strait or prices of oil?
Do I have any insights on the price of oil?
Yeah. Just me.
Well, I mean, you've missed the boat. Like, so let's just have a look at
missed the boat.
Yeah.
Let me add.
Excuse the pun.
Show the price of oil here. Oh wow, the oil price just absolutely crashed and then came right back. This is unprecedented times, right? Like a lot is happening right now.
Yeah.
And potentially like these candle closes on the monthly this is scary, right? Because oil does not pump if things are good, right? Like, you know, naturally oil the last time oil pumped up bad was the 2007 financial crisis, right? Crisis, right? You know, and this potentially looks like a similar sort of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what is oil? So looking at the chart, so this is West Texas. So, I mean, it's basically, it's kind of stuck in a range. Really, at the end of the day, it's in a range at the moment, from what I see. Yeah,
you think?
Sorry, daily. It's in a daily range, right?
Let me look at WTI. You look at WTI?
It's in a weekly range, and it's the monthly's not closed yet, so we don't know what the monthly's going to do. But it's in a daily and weekly range, albeit it's broken out with a very strong breakout. Very strong breakout. So what you want to see is that you want to see that range break before you're going to even think about getting in if it's going to get any higher.
So you think potentially people might be shorting this down?
Sorry, right? I'm looking at it. Am I looking at the same chart? I'm just having a look.
WTI now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, let's have a look.
Now my major concern with this is, you know, I don't think people trade oil like they do the NASDAQ. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is completely a fundamental drive, right? Oil is 100% fundamental, and the war is like, I don't like, if you're looking at the day trading here, it's, you know, it's these giant pumps are, you know, I don't think people are trading these, right? I think that is just fear that's making these things move, right? It's not the same as, I don't think it's the same as gold or NASDAQ or something, because it's not as liquid, right?
So basically it's the weekly's in a range. That's it. It's broken out, gapped up, and you've had really very average looking bearish momentum on the week, right? So you just said, so last week was your first sign that we're probably going to retest that bearish momentum and then push higher. to that high of this range, and it has actually broken out of a daily range twice now, which is not a good sign for longs. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here that is going to show us.
Kind of funneling up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So it's, I mean, there is reason at the moment for it to go, depending on how today closes, which is almost closed, isn't it? An hour left.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Yeah, no, it's probably going to go long again. It's probably trying to get to the high of this range. Yeah. And at that point, you've got to break out of this range.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'm just what's your plan? Are you hedged with anything? Like let's say oil just keeps ripping. Like I think we all know if oil rips, the economy's in the gutter, right? And I think that's global economy, right? At this point. Do you have any plan on how to hedge to keep yourself safe? Or are you putting money on the sidelines waiting to buy the crash? Or are you just buying Bitcoin and hoping for the best, or what?
Just basically putting money on the sideline, getting in dollar cost averaging in on the stocks that are tanking, that are good companies.
Yeah. Do you have any picks that you think are going to be good pulls over the next year if things do crash?
I mean, I think like the airlines are going to come back, right?
Yeah.
The airline stocks
like
are going to come back.
Boeing, or is it Boeing that's crashing, or what's crashing?
Boeing. I mean, like, well, I look at Air New Zealand.
Air,
for obvious reasons, and that's just taking a pummeling. It's sort of like 3-month lows. So I'm guessing a lot of airlines are like that. I mean, like the UK ones, they're struggling. Like the UK is struggling massively. So I mean, you probably just go and have a look at all the airlines and see, are they at their all-time lows, and start buying.
Yeah.
What's the Ryanair? I think let's look at Ryanair.
Yeah, Ryanair. So my parents, like, just side story, they were supposed to go to the UK, had a Ryanair trip booked to Portugal, and they've cancelled their whole trip because Ryanair is just like absolute shocker. I think they're cancelling trips all over the shop.
I heard that a lot of places in the world, they canceled trips everywhere, and this doesn't look too bad, honestly. Like,
theirs actually isn't too bad, funnily enough.
Yeah. What's another airline? Maybe Air New Zealand.
Yeah, have a look at Air New Zealand. I mean, so that's like
this has been going up for a long time though, but
it's at all-time lows, right?
Delta, maybe. So Delta Airlines. It doesn't look too bad across the board.
Not too bad.
Some of them. Porter's another one, I guess. I don't know. Anyways. Emirates probably.
Yeah.
Emirates not going to be doing well. Emirates. How do I spell Emirates?
EMR. Yeah, there. RA.
Is this right?
I mean, probably you could think about shipping companies. Anything that's going to be using fuel is going to struggle.
The issue is I have no clue how to spell Emirates. My American is not showing here. Anyways, let's
Emirates. EMIRATS.
Let's close it up. Cool. I had too many tries. I'm not going to keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Cam, do you have anything that you want to plug at the end here? I know you got Trader Zen. Where can people find that?
Yeah, so Trader Zen's on the App Store, Android, Apple, and Dynamic Traders Club if you do want to find out about the Heikin-Ashi strategy that my mentor taught me. And I mean, it kind of goes on from there. There's just, I mean, you've got trend trading, you've got reversals, you name it. And check us out on Trading Nut if you want to see me trade live, and do some markups, pre-market analysis.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. I will post Trading Nuts YouTube channel in the Discord, and the winner of the 50K Maven challenge will be posted in there as well. Thanks, James. Thanks, Cam. See you next week.
Guys.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.